Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, October 18, 2018. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. A 4-member urology mission from the World Pediatric Project, the WPP, today wrapped up a week-long visit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, during which 21 surgeries were successfully completed. Of the 21 surgeries done at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, 8 were performed on Vincentians by lead surgeon Dr. Douglas Copeland and his team. Executive Director of the WPP Eastern Caribbean Office, Lauren McIntosh, told SVG-TV News that they are pleased with the outcomes.
We had our clinic day on Sunday where we saw 60 children, 21 of them from the region, and we're actually conducting 21 surgeries this week. Thus far, all of the surgeries have gone well. We actually, today is our last day for surgery, so we have 6 scheduled for today, and he's actually on child number 4.
Chairman of the WPP Board of Directors, Brian Clare, told SVG-TV News that it has been a great mission which received the full support of the government.
An organization that can make all that happen because it's so complex to not only get the medical people, the equipment, and the team members together, but also to coordinate with the local governments. And St. Vincent's government and the Prime Minister and the Governor General have been very involved with making all this happen, and we enjoy our partnership.
Dr. Clare said this year similar missions were held in other Caribbean countries and 16 were assigned to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Dr. Clare said that 2 more medical missions are expected in SVG before year end.
We have another mission coming the first week in November, which will be an orthopedic mission for children, pediatric orthopedic mission, and I think we have 1 more after that before the end of the year.
There are a number of advantages to be derived when the government constructs its proposed joint venture hotel at Montwin Peters Hope. The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Camelo Gonzalez, highlighted some of these during today's sitting of Parliament as he responded to a question from the opposition. Minister Gonzalez said there are quite a few state-owned hotels around the region which bring benefits to those countries. He said one advantage is that the state can get a better deal from bilateral partners than what is commercially available to the private sector.
Investment process for a number of players in the private sector is a little bit longer than the process involving some state entities, and some of the terms that the government can get from a bilateral ally will be better than some of the terms that are available commercially. And so we think that all of these advantages held by the state are important and should be acted upon to leverage and quickly accelerate room stock. But it is not an either-or proposition, the state or the private sector. We have a number of private sector hotels that are in construction. We have great interest from existing private sector entities. But the fact of the matter is that 2,200 rooms in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we just don't have enough rooms. And we have to rapidly increase our room stock to make tourism achieve its potential as a significant contributor to our economic growth and development.
Minister Gonzalez said the private sector is still considered an important partner in building the country's tourism product and believes there is still a lot of space for private sector expansion.
We expect also this initiative to have a positive knock-on effect on private sector investment and development of hotels. And we believe at this stage of our present development and the fact that we have a target of adding 800 rooms to the national room stock over the next 4 years, there's more than enough space for the private sector to participate. Many investment opportunities abound, and the members of the Hotel and Tourism Association will know that this government has approached them on many times with many different proposals to get their involvement not only in expanding their own existing facilities but to invest in new facilities as well. We hope that this new hotel and any other new hotels that the government participates in the future will expand the space for tourism.
The finance minister said the state-owned hotel will bring employment opportunities, especially for persons involved in hospitality and agricultural sector.
This stage of our 250-room hotel, at the level at which we're pitching it, you're talking about an average of 1.5 employees per room. So we have something approaching 300 employees in that Mount Win Peters Hope hotel once completed, and we think that when the state owns the facility, we also have better control of the value chains of goods and services entering the hotel. I look forward to Minister Caesar and his farmers supplying the state-owned hotel with tomatoes and fish and provisions and fruit going forward. I want to be clear to people that the government is not going to run a hotel. It is going to build a hotel, and it is going to enter into an arrangement with internationally recognized and well-known hotel managers to do the actual day-to-day work of managing the hotel.
Minister of Agriculture, Subota Caesar, said that while many farmers are embracing diversification, climate change issues are impacting the ministry's plans to expand the production of bananas here. Minister Caesar, who was speaking in Parliament today, said that while there are some advances being made in the banana industry, such as the control of leaf spot disease, many farmers are choosing to produce crops other than bananas. He said root crops have gained some popularity among farmers, while cocoa and coffee continue to generate interest. The minister said he has had discussion with two of the largest banana farmers, and work is already underway to use some of their lands to plant multiple crops.
Another large banana farmer, whose name I will not mention, but he's arguably, Mr. Speaker, one of the largest banana farmers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines of all times. In the last 5 years, he has planted cocoa, he has planted coffee, he has downsized some of his banana fields to invest in an expansion in root crops. He has bananas still. And he has recently requested assistance from the Ministry of Agriculture, technical assistance for the production of vegetables on the greenhouse. And I am certain, Mr. Speaker, that with medicinal cannabis, this will create some interest to his mind. Those are two farmers. I believe that together, over the last 10 years, they are the two largest banana producers in the country. And the trend is leaning towards diversification, and it's a reality.
Minister Caesar said farmers are more aware of the impacts of climate change on banana production throughout the region, and as such, farmers and investors have been exploring options which better suits the current realities.
I sent a letter yesterday to the Honorable Minister of Agriculture in St. Lucia, seeking a meeting of ministers in the OECS, but particularly in the Windwards, to address the issue of how do we grapple in the rebuilding stages with the negative impacts of climate change on the banana industry. Mr. Speaker, farmers are making certain decisions based on climate change. It is a reality. What took place here in 2010, Hurricane Thomas, they are well aware of what took place with Hurricane Maria and Tropical Storm Kirk, and persons are calculating their investments.
The minister said the ministry will continue to provide guidance for farmers who wish to plant bananas. He said between now and 2019, the ministry will be moving forward with an organic agricultural platform.
By the way, in late 2018, early 2019, there will be established a national organic production platform here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And all being equal, there's a strong possibility that several stakeholders who are currently producing bananas may wish to participate in non-banana organic agriculture production, even though there's a space for organic bananas. So I just want to note, Mr. Speaker, even though the ministry, the Banana Services Unit, WINFA, Fair Trade, even though we are working to encourage persons to plant more bananas, the farmers are making a decision based on the realities around them. Currently, we have 728 acres of bananas cultivated here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mr. Speaker.
The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, will hold a consultation tomorrow, Friday, October 19th, to roll out a plan on advancing multi-hazard early warning systems in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Over the last several months, NEMO has been receiving help from the United Nations Development Program, the UNDP, and CDEMA, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, to develop the systems with a view of making them more holistic, robust, and sustainable. A release from NEMO says it has also received support for development of the system from the government of Cuba and local experts, with financial assistance coming from the EU Disaster Preparedness Program. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who holds the portfolio for disaster management, is slated to deliver the keynote address at tomorrow's consultation, which begins at 8:30 a.m. at French's House. Other addresses will come from Director of NEMO, Michelle Forbes, CDEMA's Executive Director Elizabeth Riley, and Krisha Makemi, a representative of the UNDP for Barbados and the OECS. The opening session will be followed by panel discussions and plenary sessions. The Kingston Anglican School Annex closed from midday and will not reopen until next Monday. A release from the Ministry of Education said the abrupt closure was due to the discovery of an electrical problem, which Braxa was assessing to ensure that the children return to a safe environment on Monday. However, the SVG Teachers Union, also in a press release, said that its executive visited the school this morning and found it to be in a deplorable working condition, which was unsafe for working and learning. The union said it asked the teachers to withdraw their services with immediate effect. The release said that the union's executive found that the roof was leaking and the water falling on the light fixtures and electrical fittings. It said electrical circuits and outlets were also broken. The public relations officer told SVG-TV News that they did not inform the Ministry of Education, but word got to them and they subsequently carried out a visit. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said he believes there is no need for an investigation into allegations made by suspended police constable Etienne Charles that he was beaten by Acting Police Commissioner Colin John. Charles is facing a number of charges, including multiple counts of robbery, illegal possession of a firearm, ammunition, and more recently, murder. Charles has accused the commissioner of physical abuse following his arrest in connection with the robbery of Dr. Tawana Brown Caesar. The commissioner has publicly denied the accusation. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said all citizens possess rights under the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which must be respected and protected. He said while he does not support police beatings, he does not see the need for an investigation into Charles' allegations.
So you notice, and everybody could hear the manner in which I speak about the rights of an individual, which must be protected. I don't support police beating anybody. In fact, if a police beat a man and gets a confession from that man, and you come to what is called a voir dire, a trial within a trial, and that statement is struck out because that statement is tainted because it was not made voluntarily. The beating, what you beat him and you get the statement, it doesn't serve you. any good purpose. So I don't encourage any policeman to beat anybody. But that doesn't say that when a man gets up and says, the police beat me, that I must believe that person without more. It doesn't mean that I must go and carry out an investigation.
The Prime Minister said if Charles felt violated, there are avenues under the law where he can seek redress, and one of these avenues is to make a formal criminal complaint.
The Honorable Speaker, wearing a different hat, sued successfully 3 policemen, who were brought guilty for beating a young man. Let's understand that. I don't know if a formal complaint has been made by this gentleman, formal criminal complaint, rather than stating it in a court. He can do a formal criminal complaint. If he does a formal criminal complaint, it will be investigated and the results put to the DPP as to whether the commissioner or anybody should be charged. But as far as I know, that has not been done.
The Prime Minister said the other option is to have the matter heard in the civil courts.
Or if you don't want to go that way, where you feel that because the police investigating and going to the DPP, that you may have a problem proving beyond reasonable doubt, and that you may wish to go civilly, this gentleman can instruct a lawyer to go civilly, where that person will have to prove only on a balance of probabilities. The burden still of proof, but a lower standard of proof, because it then would be a civil case for damages as distinct from a criminal one. But there is nothing before me to suggest that there should be an investigation.
This week is being observed as Earth Science Week, and the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, has planned a number of activities in communities in close proximity to the La Soufrière volcano. The activities, which are organized jointly with the University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center, are aimed at making residents more aware and alert about geological hazards. Director of NEMO, Michelle Forbes, told SVG-TV News that they would like everyone to be sensitized and informed in relation to possible disasters in their communities.
To build the capacity in the communities to be able to understand the hazard first, because you have to understand so that you can take action. So understand the threats, understand that we are living with La Soufrière volcano, and how can we live with it, because we have to, we don't have a choice. But also knowing the threats that we face if we have a volcanic eruption. Over 39 years since the last eruption. Next year we plan to have some activities to commemorate the last eruption, more sensitization and public awareness.
The educational and outreach activities are being held through exhibitions and presentations from various schools.
So we are focusing in the area of Trumaka. This week we have set up our exhibition at the Strumaka Government School, primary school, right there, and we have invited the general public to come and view the exhibition. The school children from all the schools within that general community have been visiting all week. It will continue until Friday around lunchtime.
Yesterday there was also community social and Soufrière Blue exhibition. The St. Vincent Electricity Services Limited, VINLEC, will reopen its South Rivers Hydropower plant tomorrow, October 19th, following extensive rehabilitation. With the rehabilitation, which began in 2016, it means that the 66-year-old power plant is now fully automated and will be monitored from the Cane Hall Power Station. using upgraded technology. The Richmond station, meanwhile, will now be monitored from Cumberland. Vilnex said in a news release that the South Rivers Power Station and the Richmond plant were rehabilitated under a project that cost around $20 million. During the commissioning stage of the work, the company's engineers were joined by a representative from JILS, a UK-based company that specializes in hydropower projects. The company said that its hydro rehabilitation project is one of the largest capital projects it has undertaken. Tomorrow's ceremony will be addressed by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who has responsibility for energy as well as management and board officials. It will take place at the South Rivers Power Station compound beginning at 3 p.m.